Okay, so to pull these frets out, the best way to do this is to take just a little bit of heat, your fret pullers, some tape, and patience. Whole lot of patience. Now, I've done hundreds of fret jobs, so when I say this is going to be my first stainless steel fret job, I do not mean my first ever fret job. Just first stainless steel fret job. So the heat. A lot of people see this on reels and stuff like that, and they just see people soldering away at their frets. It does not take an exorbitant amount of heat. These are nickel. They're very, very conductive to heat. So like this is just, I think a 60 watt iron, 30 watt iron. I'm holding it with my bare hand, and what I'm gonna do is show you how fast this transfers heat. I've got no solder on the iron, nothing here, no flux or anything. I'm gonna touch it here. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm already feeling it on the other end of the fret. So can't even touch that side. This side's warm. That's how fast. So, you know, this becomes as hot as this very quickly. You do not need flux. You do not need solder. We're not making any electronic connections. The point of this heat is to break loose any finish, any glue, and then also just grime that gets its way under and makes this fret adhere to the wood. Because really all that's holding these frets in is pressure. Also, the neck has, flex to it. Most of these newer Fender guitars have a dual acting truss rod, which is really great because we can actually convex the neck this way, which actually loosens the fret, the grip of the frets, and it'll get more loose as you go. As you take them out, it'll become more loose. Mind you, the neck is going to tend to want to go from being flexed this way. As the frets come out, it's going to come back this way because these frets are adding pressure to convex it as well as the truss rod. So it's another thing to keep in mind since we're using a much harder fret material. Once all the frets get in to the neck, that's when we're going to want to check it for level. We don't want to level the neck and then put frets in because that's going to convex it this way. And then your fret rocker is going to rock on every single fret. So we want to, go a little bit at a time as it's spreading out, kind of keep an eye on it. And then when we're done putting the frets in, then we're going to flatten the neck and then check with the fret rocker. So anyway, it doesn't take long, a few seconds on each part. So like I said, I was able to feel heat at the other end after about 15 seconds. That means it was too hot to touch there. That's burning the wood. We don't want to do that. So we're going to go here. We're just going to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we'll just move it along this way. You don't want to smell burning, especially wood burning, because then you're damaging the fibers. So we don't want to smell wood burning. Okay, so we're going to put that back on a stand, which I have over here to the side. Now we're going to take tape just to protect the fretboard. That fret's good and warm. Doesn't have to be piping hot, just warm. And take a blade, cut through underneath like that. Same thing over here. Run along the edge. And that's just scoring the finish. It'll also lift the fret a little bit, but just go slow because you don't want to strip the finish off the fretboard. Just around the fret itself. All right. Then we'll see if we can get a side in here. Not yet. Okay, and again, patience. It's the name of the game here. All right. Then we're going to pull. Try to get that edge of the nipper underneath the edge of the fret. Like I said, this is the hardest part, just getting it started. Take some patience. Okay. This fret is so thin. I want to get the nipper under it. It wants to just come apart underneath. So the solution for that is this baby flathead screwdriver. And I'm going to go ahead and use that. Pry it up. Soften it a bit more over here. Okay, put that back. Ah, it's close. There we go. Now just light pressure across the fret. And it'll come right out. Now, I'm looking for corrosion on the underside of the fret because that would indicate a bad seal between the neck and the fret, but it was good. No sign there. So we're looking good. We got minimal pull out. There's a few little pieces, but nothing bad. I've got this curved file. So what I like to do is just press here, feel for any like big chunks that I can't see. And then with the tape still on here, I just kind of come across here. No pressure, just real light with that curved file across the top. And that's just to get any of the tall spots on that. I'm going between the two pieces of tape too, and then just real lightly across. We don't want to pull any material or make a curve in there. We just want the edge there. So just literally laying the fret across, laying the file across. I'm not putting any pressure to dig in. So anyway, here's what it looks like when we pull the tape off. Tape got stuck in some string residue there. Just pull that out like this. Got a little finish damage, but it'll be okay. And then right here, we're gonna pull across so it'll pull it out. Yeah, it got a little bit. Might have hit it with the soldering iron, but anyway, it'll be okay. It's my guitar, so it's not like the customer's gonna be upset. So anyway, that's a good fret pull. Looks good. No tooling marks. Fret slot's intact. Let's see how this second fret does. Okay, so we're gonna take our iron like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's good. Okay, that ought to be about perfect. Work this blade up under here. Okay. It's being very difficult here. This end of the neck. See if I can get a little bit sharper edge on my nippers here. Yeah, that might be the culprit right there. We're gonna warn. There we go. See if that does a little bit better job. Much better. Okay, we're gonna work real slow. Like I said, you're just gonna let the light pressure pull this fret up. Don't just go yanking it out. There's a little corrosion on the bottom side of this one. You can kind of see. And I left the heat on a little too long right there. And that's what happens. Maybe it wasn't heat. Might have just been discoloration. I don't know. Like I said, my guitar. I can make mistakes on this guitar. Worst case scenario, I'll send it to one of my buddies that are better at this than I am and let them do the rest of the work. Putting it back together. Nah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get this thing done. It's gonna be right. It's gonna be perfect. All right, that's good there. Put that blade under there. See, this polyurethane, when it gets hot, it melts. It gets soft, and then it melts. Which is what you want so we don't take chunks out. All right, I'm gonna try to get under this fret now. There's hardly any fret to grab. Man. I have to come at this one from the other side here. Let's do that. There's just very little fret. There we go. Okay, easy pressure. Then we'll just work a little bit at a time and pull this fret out. Very gentle pressure. Try to be even with it. There you go. Very easy. Doesn't have to come all the way out. I kind of use my thumb too, like this, to control. So I kind of push out with my thumb while adding pressure in this way. If you notice, the tool is ramped right here. So as you add pressure, you increase the lifting. So this is, you're not wanting to like pull like that. You just want to easily add pressure and let the fret ride up those two wedges. They call it a fret puller, but that's really a misleading term as far as how you use the tool. All right, minimal pull out. You're gonna have some pull out. So like these little bits, you're gonna have some. It's rare that you would have none, especially with maple. So we're gonna go back over, blow that out. Like I said, light with the file. And that's what we got when we're done. Yeah, so it's not burning with the soldering iron. That's just discoloration in the wood. That should be consistent with the edge of the fret being corroded. And it is. So these frets were, I'm not going to say it was a problem with corrosion, but yeah, it was on that road. All right, here we are. All the frets are out, and I have polished the urethane. When the frets come out, you know, you saw where I had used a file to get the fret beds nice and flat, and then also kind of smoothing out the urethane. So then I just use automotive polishing compound, the finest you can get, like not the most expensive high end. I mean, fine as in like the finest cutting grit that you can find. In this case, this polishing compound from Turtle Wax was the lightest cutting compound I could find. And it's for urethane finishes. It's for automotive urethane, but it's still. This is polyurethane, not altogether different than the epoxy urethane or whatever two-part, two-stage paint clear that they use on cars. This is just a lot more flexible. What they put on wood is just more flexible than what they put on a car. So you want the finest cutting compound you can get, and it's still going to leave smudges and stuff like this if you don't have like a really good polishing wheel. All I have here in my garage is this drill with a little wheel on it, and this is how it came out. So, you know, if you get real close and use this 4K camera, you can see scratches and imperfections. But this is a Rode guitar. It ain't gonna stay that shiny all that long anyway. So here are the Jescar stainless steel frets. They are significantly more stiff than the other ones. Here's some spares. I can't bend these by hand. I mean, all the strength I can put into it, and no, not moving. And so you can see here, here's my radius gauge. They came pre-radiused. They're about perfect. It's hard to tell here because of the way the camera is, but 9.5, you want them to have a little bit more curve than 9.5 because when you do press them in, they're going to flatten out just a little. So these are perfect. I've checked them all, just making sure that we're good to go against the radius gauge. So These are going to line up. So here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to put the fret into the slot, but not press it in. I'm going to get this side over here lined up as best as I possibly can to the edge of the fretboard, to where when I go to cut them, all I have to do is cut over here. So this will not be getting cut. It'll just be getting filed. This over here is going to get marked with a fine tip like felt pen at the exact point that I need it cut off at. I'm going to use a cutting wheel on a Dremel with the fret off the guitar. We'll cut the fret, we'll put it back on to where all we have to do is bevel the edge, bring in our angle, and then round off the edges. The other thing I'm going to do is right here on the fret tangs, which is this part. I'm going to use this knife here to show you. We're going to cut an angle like this. And the reason for that, like this, also with the cutting wheel, the reason for that is I don't want any fret sticking out of here and having to file it off, because it'll be very difficult to file. It'll want to lay over because the wood is softer than the metal. The wood's not strong enough to hold it to be filed. So all you're going to end up doing is wallering out this fret slot end, trying to get any poke out that happens over time as this neck expands and shrinks. So we're just going to take care of that during the install. So once that's done, we'll press them in, hammer them flat. Of course, again, once they're all in, we're going to, fret rock them, make sure they're perfect. So cut them, install them, flatten the neck, fret rock, make sure we're as good and close to level as we can get. A quick leveling with the leveling beam, then crowning with diamond files. Then we're going to go through a lot of sandpaper. Like I said, probably going to start with about 400 or 600 grit, going 4, 6, 8,000, 1,200, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, 4,000, and then we're going to go to this chrome polish on a Dremel wheel, these guys. So they'll be even shinier than this when we're done. This is just the machined edge. When I get done with them, they're going to look like, I don't know, like jewelry is what they're going to look like. And hopefully they stay that way. So we finished the refret, and I've got one gig on the guitar, and it was a hot one. It was here in Texas, 90-something degree weather. Played for about an hour and sweating crazy, outside, festival style thing. And I figured it'd be a good gig to put the stainless steel frets to the test. So we're gonna take out the guitar, see what it looks like. We're gonna get it out of the case. It's been sitting in here overnight, and take a look at the, see what the frets are looking like. So you can see they don't even have a bit of oxidation on them. And I mean, I poured sweat on this guitar. You can even see these were brand new strings at the beginning of that gig, and you can see how they're starting to show some oxidation and rust and, just grossness. But the frets, focus there, phone, come on. Just as shiny as when I polished them. For comparison, let's get this other guitar out that I also played several songs on. And you can see this one had fret The frets were polished right before the show when I restrung it, and you can see that these frets are oxidizing. Again, brand new strings, fresh polish on the frets, one outdoor gig. And this is how much oxidation is on these frets. Now, it looks worse on the phone than it is. I can literally just take some chrome polish and they'll shine right back up. But I have to do that all the time with these nickel frets. But on the stainless frets, like I said, shiny like they just got polished. Even after sweating and grime and all that. So I like it. I think I'm a fan of stainless steel frets. A lot of work, definitely worth it.